Fine. So once again, very good afternoon to all of you. So today we are, although we have started the network layer in the previous class itself, means basic that in the layered architecture of the internet where network layer fits, and what is the role of the network layer in that anyway we are knowing that already. So now from today's lecture onwards, in the next 6-7 lectures, we will understand the functionalities and the working of the different, you can say, uh, features which are or the different functionalities which network layer uh, does. These functionalities we'll understand. Okay, so in that thing, we will start with the today's session, in which we will see uh, the longest prefix matching. What is the longest prefix matching which is used by the router, and the IP addressing, how the IP addresses are assigned, and then the concept of hierarchical addressing, IP addressing, and the subnetting. So these concepts we will learn in a today's session. So first, as I think all of us, we are aware that IP address are so the version which we are using in at least in India, that is the IPv4 addressing in still in the most of the places IPv4 only, but we also know that IPv6 addressing is also available, that is supported by the IETF. So we will talk primarily right now with the IPv4 only, and then later on we will also I will discuss about the IPv6 addressing. So the one, you can say, the major difference is in terms of the size of the address. So IPv4 address is a 32-bit address which we represent in the 4 octets. So each and then these 4 octets are separated by the dot. So you can see here. So usually IP address we read like a 128.11.3.31. That's a IPv4. So this is a 8-bit or a octet. It is called as octet, and corresponding binary is written here. Right, this is the way we IP address we represent. This is IPv4. IPv6 is a 128-bit address. That's a one. But apart from that, there are other differences are also there. But as of now, let us just, in terms of the size of the two addresses, IPv6 is a large size address as compared to the IPv4. Okay, so what is the role of the IP address or in the internet is that each device which we connect on the network, that device must have the unique address, right? And that address should be unique across all the nodes which are connected on the network, because then only that node can be uniquely addressed, right? Two nodes in the network cannot have the same address. If the same address is there, then it's a problem. Then the communication, there can be ambiguity in the communication whether I am connecting to the node A or node B, if the node A and B both have the same address. So address must be unique actually, right? So like if we have a 50 students in the class, every student should be identified uniquely, like your bits ID is a unique, right? Name cannot be a unique because name can be same also. So we need some unique uh, identity. So identity should be unique so that each individual can be accessed or can be contacted. So that's the purpose. So total, if we say 32-bit address is there, so we have, if I say 2 power 32, that's a total number of combinations which I can make out of these 32-bit. So roughly it is a 4 billion total addresses are there. That's if I say that IP addresses can be formed using that. And the primary reason was that moving from IPv4 to, which I am telling that IPv6 was that IPv4 addresses were depleted in around 2001, 2002, that time. So then, or about to deplete. So then the people come up with that we need a larger address space because more number of nodes are becomes a part of the network, and particularly in the era of IoT, Internet of Things, that there the every even a small device, a sensor device or any embedded device itself is uh, we want to connect in the IoT as a part of the network. So then we require a more larger address space, so more number of devices can be connected. So that's why if I say that simply 2 power 128, then that number will be a very large, means huge number is there. So that is not going to be exhaust for so many years. Okay, so now as we know that this datagram network, right now we are talking about the datagram network. There is another service which is, or you can say another type of IP network which supports the virtual circuit approach. So that we have not discussed right now. But in virtual circuit, as I explained in the previous class, that source to destination, there is a path is something, entire path is defined, or you can say fixed kind of thing. But in datagram network, every hop we take a call that okay, what will be the next hop, so that this packet or this datagram can reach to the destination. So every router have, as I mentioned, that every router runs a routing algorithm, which we will discuss later. Right now, you assume that okay, yes, some routing algorithm is running, and this routing algorithm, the outcome of the routing algorithm is a forwarding table is created, right? So this forwarding table have typical two fields are there. One is the destination address, and other is the output link, or sometimes we call as a interface, because interface is a term which is used. Suppose suppose a router is there, and router have four, you can say, links. So each link there is associated interface is there through which that link and router are connected actually, right? Physical wire, and there is a socket in the router, through that we connect. Like in your computer also you have LAN interface is there, right? Where you connect your LAN cable, and then your network, your computer becomes part of the network. So this is called basically interface. So we can use in place of outgoing link, the interface also can be used, right? So the typical forwarding table is like that, that let us say, so one way, if suppose from this router, I want, I want that, so these interfaces are named as 1, 2, 3, 4, and now for this router may receive any datagram which which needs to be delivered to any of the IP address out of these 2 power 32 addresses, right? So then this forwarding table should tell me exactly that yes, if this is the destination address, which is one of the address which is there out of 2 power 32, for this what to what interface I should forward, so that it can means reach to the destination. So for every IP address, that entry must be there, otherwise that router will not be able to process all the datagrams, right? So technically, how many entries are required? That 2 power 32 entries should be there in each router's forwarding table. And this looks very, means it's a very huge, you can say large number of entries, and it consumes a lot of memory as well, and searching and all these things will be very complicated. So that's not a practical to store all 4 billions, you can say, entries in each router, because updation also will take more time and all. So we'll see that okay, what is the practical solution is there of that. We actually we don't practically we don't require these 2 power 32 entries actually to forward the packet to any IP address out of these 2 power 32, right? So we say that okay, right now I just symbolically use that we can define the addresses in the range: address range 1, address range 2, address range 3 and 4. So let us assume these all 4 ranges are covered in that 2 power 32 address space. So address range 3, address range 1 means okay, if any packet datagram that belongs to the destination address is in between this address range first, then outgoing interface is 3. And how it is computed, that is outcome of the routing algorithm. Actually, routing algorithm runs, and then it finds the using that this forwarding table is constructed. So right now, don't worry about that. Once we learn the routing algorithm, how it is working and how it is computing the path, or how it is identifying the next hop to which the packet to be forwarded so that it can reach to the destination. So once you know this thing, then I think you will be able to connect it. But right now you can assume this as a black box, and let us say it is providing me this information, because our currently our interest is to know that how the addressing works, and based on that how the router do the forwarding based on this forwarding table which is available at each router, right? So this is typical every router have in this topology. So every router table based on this table, and then so incoming packet header, it will check it and it will check the destination IP address, something like that. Suppose destination IP address is 120.12.10.5. So the corresponding binary 32-bit also you can make it, and that binary 32-bit are coming, and it is matching with the it will match either with the address range 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, and accordingly the packet will be forwarded to the next hop or next outgoing link. Okay. So let us. So this is the visualization of this table. Means this real addresses, right? So I say the first range is this, from this IP address to this IP address. I've written in binary because we'll see that. Okay, it is actual processing is in the binary only anywhere the router, because it will compare the bits only. The second range, and this is the third range, and any other address which is not means lie between in these three ranges, then that's the fourth entry will be used. So that interface is 3. So assuming that a router have 4 interfaces, 0, 1, 2, 3, like this. So and they are numbered as 0, 1, 2, and 3. And so for this router, this is a table which is available. Right. So now we see that, do we really need all these means each one so in this range you can see there may be so many IP addresses are there. So all these entries are required, or we can survive with some lesser number of entries as well. So if you see that all the addresses which are in this range, if you see up to here, the bits are common, because it is starting from this ending this. So all the bits, these many bits of all the addresses which comes in this range, there these many bits are same. So how many bits are there actually? So this is 8, this is 8 plus 8, 16, 16 plus 5, 21. So 21 bits of address are same. These 21 bits are same. So what we can do, in place of this writing all these individual bit sequence corresponding to each IP address in this range, we can have just one 21 bit string I can enter into the in place of that in the router, right? So that will be my one entry which contains only 21 bits of this, because rest of the bits are so these bits are same and the rest of the bits are different, right? So if I just compare with this, with the incoming datagrams destination address, I have that first 21 leftmost 21 bits I will compare with that, and accordingly if it is matching to these 21 bits, then the datagram will be forwarded to the interface 0. Similarly, for other also you can check it. So it is going up to here. So this is 8 plus 8, 16 plus 24. So these 24 bits are same. So this address range I can replace with just single entry that indicates that have this 24 bits. Then third also we can find out similarly. So third, if you just see that, so it will be up to here, right? Here it is same, all the ranges. So these how many bits are 8 plus 16, so plus 5, 21. So this is a again 21 bit. So this we call as a prefix. This is called, in this terminology, IP terminology, it is called as a prefix, or more precisely, it is called IP prefix, because it's IP address, so it's a prefix. So you can say this is a suffix, these remaining bits are suffix, so that's why it is called as a prefix. So we have three prefixes, two 24 bits, two 21 bits and one 24 bits. So three prefixes are there. So actually the entries which will be required in the router corresponding to this these address ranges is these three entries. So I just copied these three entries which we have marked in the previous slide. So this is, you can say, 21 bit entry, this also 21, and this is a 24 bit entry. Now these three prefixes, with the help of these three entries, I can forward the datagram which corresponding to the address range which is specified here. Correct? Now let us see that how the this forwarding will be done. So let us say this is the destination address for a datagram which is received at this router or arrived at this router, right? So now this is a 32-bit IP address of destination address for that datagram. So can you tell me which interface this datagram will be forwarded?
0, interface 0. Sir.
Interface 0, you are saying. So let us examine that. Okay, so you 1 0. So yeah, so it is matching, exactly matching with the first you can say 0th entry, these 21 bits. And this one, so and this is not matching with the, so the entire prefix should match. So you can say up to here anyway it is matching to the this also, second and third also, but we have to match the complete prefix, right? So complete, if you will take it, so 21 bit it is matching, so it is exactly matching with the one entry. So then there is no confusion. uh, the router will take a call, exactly it will match it, and then it will forward the packet to interface 0. Okay, now take this example. Now tell me which interface it will forward this datagram having this destination address.
Interface 1. Sir.
Interface 1, you are saying. So let me see. Interface 1 means interface 1 have a 24-bit prefix. So you are saying this. Okay. Okay. Why not interface 2?
Sir, its range was different, sir.
No, see,
Previous.
if interface 2 is something like this, interface 2 has a 21 bit prefix, and if I take the leftmost 21 bit of my destination address, which is up to here, correct? That is also matching. So
Yes.
basically it is matching with the two prefixes, right? One which is corresponding to interface 1. I'm writing the interface number here, and this bigger one. Yes, so this bigger one, that is a 24-bit prefix, if I take, then it is matching with the sorry, this is for interface 2. Yeah, smaller one is for interface 2 and bigger one is for interface 1. So now there's a confusion. We should have some rule that, okay, uh, uh, means to which interface the packet will be forwarded, because it is matching with the two entries. So in this case 2, it can be more than 2 also. If more entries are there, then a destination address can match to the multiple prefixes also, right? So the rule is what? Rule is says that you have to match with the longest prefix which matches. So in this case, you can see that this prefix is a 21 bit. So this prefix is also matching with the destination address if I just consider 21 bit. And there is another prefix which have a 24 bit. So if I take the 24 bit of the destination address, then it is matching with this. So 24 is larger than 21. So that's why according to the longest prefix matching, the packet will be forwarded to the interface 1, not to the interface 2. Now, maybe the question arises in your mind says that why, sir, why it is a longest prefix match? Why it is doing the longest prefix matching? Anybody knows about it or want to answer this? Why it is longest prefix matching?
Sir, it is because the interface to the prefix which we have written, the range actually starts after the range of the earlier prefix, sir, like 11000.
Hmm.
So that's the reason.
Okay, so yeah, so more precisely we'll come to know means in a after we'll cover the subsequent slides. So yeah, you are partially right. So one thing I want to add here is that these IP addresses are in the hierarchical form. If I say these addresses are in a hierarchical form. Now, what do you mean by the hierarchical? Okay, that first we'll see few examples, we'll understand, and then automatically you'll understand that, okay, in IP network, addresses are assigned in a hierarchy. So it is something like that. I want to give one analogy. So, and then you will try to means understand from the discussion which we'll now onwards we'll do in the rest of the lecture. Suppose you have, you take the example of that postal service only. So in this, if we say that suppose there are some set of some letters are there that that needs to be means their destination is in the, let us say, in Jaipur, right? So means you may have a, for Jaipur there may be maybe a 10,000 of letters are there. Let us take an example. Now within Jaipur also, you know that, okay, Jaipur have a, means multiple areas, like, right? So I say the area 1, area 2, colonies, localities, whatever way you divide. So if I say I also specify, okay, locality, A1 locality, then maybe A1 locality have just only 500. This is a more precise. So my address, some bits of the address is specifying the, let's say, city, and then within the city which area. So the area is specified, then maybe, so then I have a more precise address. So this is the hierarchy. Now within area also, let us say that's a which street, and within a street, let us say maybe that street may have a 2 or 3 localities. So then the locality or means building, and within building you have exact house number, right? So this kind of hierarchy is there in the IP addresses also. So if this hierarchy we follow, then the larger prefix takes me to the nearer to the more closer to the actual destination, right? So this is the reason why the longest prefix matching is used. More precisely in terms of IP addresses, we will understand in the subsequent slide. So for that, I need to introduce you with the this thing. So let us see this thing. So let's this network, you see here, you can see one router is there, and this router have a 3 interfaces. This router has 3 interfaces, right? So this interface, so let's first pay your attention to this interface of the router. So to this interface, there are 3 machines are connected, right? 3 machines are, each machine have IP address. Just observe the IP address 223.1.1.1, and this is 223.1.1 to 223.1.1.3. And this interface, which router interface have the IP address, that also require the IP address, that also have the 223.1.1.4. So what is common in that? All these addresses which belongs to this range or this, you can say this subnetwork sort of thing, you have these 24 bits of the address is common. So this 24 bit so any address which is there, so suppose I want to add a one more machine here, what should be the address, what kind of address that machine should have? 223.1.1 should be there, and then for the maintaining the uniqueness, okay, it should have, it can have a 5, let us say. Okay, so all the addresses have 24, these 24 bits are common or same. 24 bits are common in this. Similarly, other network also, other areas also, you just check it. So here, this is 223.1.3, 223.1.3, 223.1.3, these 24 bits are common. Right? Similarly, here also 223.1.2, 1.2, 1.2, that is common. So now if you say that you want to write the prefix, so prefix for this interface, so what will be the prefix, common prefix for all the machine? 223.1.1. So I can say 223.1.1, and then the fourth byte can be anything. Similarly, for this, I have 223.1.2, and then fourth byte can be anything. Similarly, here also 223.1.3.x. So this will be the prefix will be there in the forwarding table of the routers. 1, 2, and 3 prefixes will be there. And using these prefixes, I can forward the packet to any of the destination which are connected to this router. Right. So these three, you can say these three group of interfaces are called as this is one called as a subnet, one network, right? So this is also one subnet. Subnet is basically, you can say, again, it's a network, but network, we use a term for the large, and then the network can be divided into subnetworks. So these are the subnetworks. Now, so how these are connected? So here you can see that the connection is missing, so that they can be connected using let us say Ethernet layer 2 switch. Right now means we are not aware of that, so that we'll do in the next chapter, basically, when I do the layer 2 network, layer 2 protocols. So through the switch we can connect all three machine, or it can be a wireless access point, right? It can be a wireless access point. So this way we can connect, or any other layer 2 technology can be used for connecting the this. So here it can be a switch. Usually switch will show like this. So this can be a switch, or it can be a access point, wireless access point, through which that networks are connected. So interfaces are connected, right? So to understand the subnet, so you have in your IP address, you have a subnet part, which is higher order bits of the IP addresses. Like in this case, this is a subnet, so higher order 24 bits are there, and host part is a lower order bits. So this is a host part. So we say this is basically your, so this is called as a network prefix, or simply it is also called as a prefix also, but more precisely we call as a network prefix. And the higher order bits are called network prefix, and lower order bits are called as a host prefix. Okay. So 8 bits are used for the host, representing the host, and the 24 bits in this case are represented by the network, to represent the network, which network is there. So you can say there are 3 networks in this stage which are connected to this router. So what is a subnet? Subnet is a device interfaces with the same subnet part of the IP address, like this. So 223.1.1, 223.1.1, 223.1.1, that is a one subnet. And they can physically reach to each other without intervening router. So these devices means if is a layer 2 switch is connected, then with the help of layer 2 switch only, this device can communicate to this device, or this device can communicate to this device, and so on. This can happen. If this device wants to communicate to this device, then they have to go through with this router. Right? Now, for subnets, one more thing we need to understand, that is something called as a subnet mask. So as we know, the number of bits in the, so first of all, the IP address is logically it is divided into two parts. One is a network prefix and host prefix, right? And how many bits are there in the network prefix and how many bits are there in host prefix? How do we know that? So there is a notation which is used. This is a notation. So we write like this: IP address and /24 something we write. So what does it mean? It means that 24 bits are used for the or which are representing the network prefix. So what left, 8 bits are left, that is used for the host prefix. So means it also convey one more message to us, that is these 24 bits for all the IP addresses which are assigned to the machine which are connected in this network. These 24 bits of address will be same for all of them, right? And you know, now if the 24 same, then based on that the router can easily, so with a single entry in the forwarding table, it can forward the packet to this side or this side of the network for all the destinations. So for each individual destination, it need not to keep the entry. So that is the meaning of that hierarchical which is coming. So yeah, means, so further it can be subnetwork, can be further also can be divided into subnetworks also, but right now let us don't complicate that thing. Right? So there is one more thing. So if I say, want to say that okay, subnet mask I want to create. So what will be the subnet mask? Subnet mask will be 255 for this thing, 255.0. That is a subnet mask. What is the use of the subnet mask? 255 means all ones. Similarly for so you can say this network is defined, or you can say in a, so this notation is also called as a CIDR notation, classless interdomain routing. Okay, so called as a classless interdomain routing. So there is also a classful is also there. I will introduce you this term later, classful, but this is called as a CIDR notation. When you write IP address slash some this number. So it gives us 2-3 information. I'm again repeating. One information is that it is telling that this is a network address, and this network have a 24 bits of the addresses of all the machine which are connected in this network. They have a same common bits, and 8 bits are used for the host, right? So you know that 8 bits, how many combinations are there of 8 bits? 2 power 8, 256. So out of these 256, uh, 2 addresses which are reserved for the special purpose. One address is something which is called as a network address. That's a usually it's a very first address which is used, that is reserved, not assigned to anywhere. And second address is which is the last address, right? So what will the, so 8-bit combinations if you make it a, so you will make 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the first address. What is the second address? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is the second address? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 0. And then 1, 1. 4, 5, 6. So like that you write in a binary in sequence up to all ones. So last will come as a all ones, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all ones. This address is called as a broadcast address in that subnet. It is a broadcast address. And the very first address is called as a network address. So these two address usually not assigned to any machine. So to assign the addresses which are available is that total host addresses, whatever is there, let us say 8 bits or X bits are there, minus 2. So if it is X equals to 8, then it will be 2 power 8 minus 2. So it will be 2 power 50, 2 power 54 addresses are available for connecting the hosts. Right? So this is a 3 subnet network which have a network network address, and then with the help of this we can figure out that how many machines can be connected to that, what is a network prefix, what is a host prefix, and what is a network mask is there. Okay, yeah, this one question is unanswered till now. That is, what is the use of subnet mask? Why we want to means what is the use of why we want to specify a subnet mask? So you just think of it. Sometime maybe I will answer it, but not now. You just think of it. What can be the use of this? Where it is used? Okay, so now, okay, so this is a little bit simpler 3 network example. Now let us say this is a this is another example. Again, so here we have a 3 routers and 3 routers, and so how many subnets are there here? So if you just look at the previous example, try to match with the previous example. So I can say one network is this, one subnetwork is this, one subnetwork is this, and one subnetwork is this. 3 subnetworks are there, and they are following the same property, you can say. So 223.1.2 is common for all the nodes within this network. 223.1.1 common for all the networks in this all the IP addresses which are there in this network. Similarly, this has 223.1.3. So there are 3 more subnetworks are there in this. So what are these? One is this. One is this subnetwork. So you can say this is a first. You can do numbering in any way. There is no criteria as such. Okay, which one is a first or which one is a second, but just some numbering I'm using to show that total how many subnetworks are there. So this is 4th, this is 5th, and this is 6th subnetwork. So here total 6 subnetworks are there. So even we can have a subnetwork which is connecting peer to peer. It is connecting. Let's say it's just a 2 interfaces which are connected. So this interface of the router basically, so that and this interface, they are in this subnetwork, and their common address is network prefix is 223.1.9. So you can see here this is common, and then because only 2 are there, so one is assigned 1 and other interface assigned 2. So 2 interface. So basically my subnetwork was basically number of interfaces. So if you just remove, let us say this device remove, and this router also you remove, then you have actually 1, 2, 3, 4 interfaces are there, and these 4 interfaces are forming a one subnetwork, right? And these and once I attach to the device to these interfaces, then maybe I will able to run the applications, and then these devices will start communicating. So here also, according to the same definition, in this case also 2 interfaces are there. One interface which is connected to this router, one interface which is connected to this router, right? Each router have a 1, 2, 3, 3 interfaces are there, right? So these 2 interfaces are also forming one network, and you can say the 2 devices which are connected, the 2 routers are connected actually, right? So suppose so from here what will happen that, okay, this router have a 3 interfaces, right? 1, 2, and 3. Now so the forwarding table, how the forwarding table will look like on this? So the prefix or the network prefix and the corresponding interface to which the packet will be forwarded. So this is my forwarding table structure on this router. So now how many prefixes entry is required so that in this network any machine can communicate to any machine? How many prefix entries are required?
So 24 bits.
Hmm?
24 bits.
No, no.
24.
How many prefix entries? Prefix number of entries I'm asking.
Sir, 3.
3 will be sufficient. Or so you are saying one is that, okay, which is I'm writing in a not in a binary, so 223.1.2, right? Another is 223.1.8. Another is 223.1.9. I think you mean to say 3 means, okay, these 3 entries are there or something else?
No, sir, no, I am wrong. Like 6 entries would be required, I think.
Because these six subnetworks are there basically, right? So although this subnetwork, there is no you can say end host is connected actually. So definitely there will be no datagram which is destined to this interface 8 and 9. Sorry, yeah, 8 and 9, these two prefixes, because there is no host is connected. So definitely you cannot means you actually the communication happens between the end host only, na? Because your client or server or whatever application which you are running, that is end host. You are not running on the router basically. Router is not running an application, so somebody can send a but yeah, for some control packet that can be destined to this thing. But as far as the application is concerned, most of the time my applications are running at a end host only. So there is no end host is connected, so there will be no packet destined. But yeah, certainly packet can be destined to 223.1.1, 223.1.3, 223.1.2. These three subnets, the packet may be destined to that. Control information, some routing information or something that maybe this interface will be required. So this routing algorithm is running for that routing protocol. So it may send some packet to this one. So for that purpose, these entries are also will be required. That is 223.1.7, 1.8 along with the 3 subnets which having the end host are connected. That is 223.1.3 and 223.1.1. Right? So the total 6 entries will be required, and then accordingly it will interface will be. So if I say this is interface 1, this is interface 2, and this is interface 3, right? 1, 2, 3. So accordingly here interface entry will be there. So where it will forward. And don't forget that this prefix is matched for the destination address, right? Not for the source address. The packet or datagram which is arriving, this datagram have a source address as well as destination IP address. So destination IP address, it takes it and match with the these entries, and whichever entry is matching, if the multiple entries are matching, then the longest prefix which is matching, longest entry which is matching, according to that corresponding interface, it will forward the packet. For that, the longest or the longest prefix is matched. Okay, so now in a next 10 minutes, what we'll do, we'll take one example to understand. So with these two examples, we understood, okay, what is subnet and how what is the how the IP addressing is done for the subnetworks. So let us we take one example that this is a service provider. One service provider, this have a one block of IP addresses assigned to the service provider. Who assigns? There is a you can say central agency. I forget to name. I think it is ICANN or something. So that assign the unique IP address blocks to the service provider, which that blocks the service provider can you can say give to the customers like maybe education institute or any company, industry, organization, something, right? So when we need a you can say internet connectivity, then we contact to one of our service provider, and then service provider gives us a IP address block along with the internet connectivity, and that IP addresses we can use in our network to to assign to the machines, right? IP addresses, because for if I want that my machines will be need to be accessible from outside, and my machine can be connected to the outside world, they can send some data, receive data, then they need a unique IP address, and that IP address they need to get it from the service provider, right? So this is a service provider, so this block. So now this CIDR notation, what it indicates to you, This is a corresponding binary and you can say representation. So this indicates to you that my network prefix, this address have net 20 bits is there. So how many you can say hosts can be there in this net in this IP address block? How many host addresses are there?
Two power 12
2
minus
power
2.
12. So 32 minus 20. So it is 2 power 12. 2 power 12 is 4096.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, okay, that is understood that, okay, out of these 40962 addresses, if in a given block, we usually reserve for a special purpose, one for sending data to all nodes and one for that network address. Okay, so now let us say this service provider, uh, the large block which is assigned to the service provider, that block it is giving to the 8 organizations, right? So and each organization requirement. So in this case, it is giving the so total 8 organizations are there, and let us assume that, okay, every organization it is giving the same block size. Okay, to make it our problem initially simple. So this 4096 needs to be divided into 8. So what will be the 512? And total 8 organizations. So this is a one way we look at that. Okay, these 8 addresses will be this larger block will be divided into 8 smaller chunks. Now 8 organizations are there. So 8 organizations, to uniquely identify each organization, how many bits of the address will be consumed? Just to uniquely identify each organization, how many
3
bits I need?
bits.
3 bits. Absolutely right. So I just take it. So 20 anyway, 20 is common for all 4096 addresses. But now 3, I will take it further division I am doing. So this 3, if you take it, so the first organization, it is giving this one. So 001, these 3 bit. So this is organization identifier. So for this organization, my address prefix will be like this: 200.23.16. It is starting /23. So in place of 20 is a larger block, /23 is a smaller block. So if you see in 23, how many bits, how many machines are there? 2 power 9, which is equivalent to 512. So for the second organization, it is sorry, I'm need to do the erasing. Yeah. So it is 001, these 3 bit. Then 010 second organize. So accordingly, it is so 001 if you are doing. So what will be the equivalent decimal number? 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. 16 plus 2, 18. So that's why it is 18 coming here. So this is 20. 1, 2, 4. So that's why this is 20. Right? So like that, I hope you understood now that, okay, this is last organization, all threes. So all 3 means 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 24, 28, 30, 28 to 30. So that's why it's a 30 here. So like that, every organization. So this is organization's network address. Each organization network address is there. Understood? Now see this thing. So let us say this is your service provider name, fly by night, some service provider is there, a larger block is there. So we'll see when we'll do that at an internet level, means ISP level, how the routing happens. There is a protocol which is called as a BGP, border gateway protocol, which is used. So means in a notionally we can understand this is in this way, that what this service provider will announce to others, that send me anything with addresses belonging to this, right? So anything belong to this, that will come to this address. So how it will be represented? By 20 bits prefix. So the 20 bit prefix is matching to this, then this ISP will receive traffic, and further here this router will have the further prefixes are there. So based on that, it will see if the first 23 bits of the address belongs to this, then it will forward into interface 1, then otherwise interface 2, interface 3, and so on. So this way, the forwarding will happen, right? Because this 23 bit for each network is a different, and that we have seen here. If you want to see, then again I switch back to this slide. So you can see this 23 bit is for each organization. These 23 bits are same. Sorry, different. 000, 001, 010, 111. So uniquely I can identify each organization. And within organization further, maybe these 512 can be divided into, let us say, if I say that I have in this organization 0, I have 8 departments further. 8 departments are there. And for each department, I want to create a separate network. So tell me, this is this address, how further it will be divided. So this is 16 address. If you will write it, the 16 address. So I'm just writing 200 and then 18. Sorry, 23. And what is the 16? 16 in binary. I'm writing 000 100 10. This is 16. Okay, and the last 8 bit are 0, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 2 bytes and the third byte is 16. Now if I say this is already /23 means 8 plus 8 16 and 16 4 20 21 22 23 up to here. This is supposed to be common for all the addresses which are there in this block. Now I am saying that further I have 8 departments. So for every department, I want to create a separate subnetwork. So how many more bits I require in my network prefix for the for the department?
3 more bits.
3 more bits. So 23 is already there. So 24, 25, and 26. 3 more bits I will add it. So first department will have this combination. Second department will have a 001, 010, 011, 110, and 111. And I will get now my net. This each department will be /26 network. And how many total addresses are available? 32 in each. Out of that, 30 can be used for connecting any machine. Correct? Okay, one last thing now. Okay, so here you can see that similarly there may be other service provider is there, and that service provider have been assigned a different IP address block that is definitely different from whatever been assigned to the fly-by-night, and that service provider also further can give the small chunks to each individual organization, depends upon their requirement. Now consider one scenario. So this is a hierarchical addressing, which is that's the reason why the longest prefix matching is can be done, and that gives me the perfect forwarding, and datagrams will reach to the destination. Okay, now this is the last thing for today. So the same example is there. This organization, sorry, ISP have been assigned a larger block, and this block is further divided among 8 organizations. Now what thing has happened is that, let us say this ISP has acquired this ISP. So now it is you can say this ISP RUs is a part of this only. It has purchased this thing or acquired this thing or whatever. So and the organization 1 have shifted to this new ISP, which is now actually it is a same organization, but yeah, because it is a different company, so still showing with this because their entire infrastructure has been taken over. Now one solution is that, okay, because this ISP is dealing with this address 199.31.00.16 because this block. So one solution for this organization 1 is that, okay, organization 1 will change its IP address block. So that is provided by this new ISP subsidiary of this original ISP. So in that case, what is the problem? The problem is that all the IP addresses which are there in this organization, these IP addresses will change, right? So corresponding DNS entries also will change. So that is a cumbersome task. So for some time, maybe service will be disrupted, and that will be, and if wherever the IP address has been hard coded, so you need to change in the applications also. Usually we don't do that. It is not hard coded, but yeah, in case if it is hard coded, then wherever in the application the IP addresses have been hard coded, these IP address, the application also needs to be modified. So it's a cumbersome task. So we say that, okay, fine. We will not change the IP address block. This organization can retain the same IP address block. Now tell me how the forwarding will happen, right? So so here we'll see the real longest prefix matching advantage. So you see that this larger block, right? This larger block, this 200.23.18.0/23 is part of this larger block actually. So what is the prefix will be used for this? The prefix will be 20-bit prefix is there, right? So suppose somewhere here router is there, and that router connected to these two interfaces, and then it needs to check that, okay, which interface it will forward. So its table will be like here, prefix will be there, and the interface is there. Only two interfaces are there, so 1 and 2. Let us say this is one interface and this is two interface, and two prefixes. So this is 20-bit prefix. So the 20-bit prefix, if I say, let me change the pen color. Okay. So this 20-bit prefix will be what? I'm writing here because this space is not enough. So, okay, let me quickly write in a binary. 10000101111 and 0001. This is a 20-bit prefix. So if this prefix, so the destination address, we'll take a one destination address example and then see. So then it is supposed to be forward to this direction, right? So this is interface 1, so interface 1. And for this prefix, this is a /23 prefix. So this is a, so these bits will be same, 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 111 and 0 0 0 1 0 0 1. 3 bits are extra, right? So that is for second, and this is for first. These two prefixes are there. Now the destination address, let us say, comes something like this. So destination address is 200.23.18.2. Which block it represents? Which in which block it is there? In this block it is there. Now what will be the corresponding binary for this? Okay, binary address will be 100.100.100.000 23.000.10.111. This is 23, and 18 will be 0001.0010, right? And 2 will be last octet is a 2, so 45610. So this is a binary address in the binary form. Sorry, this destination address of the datagram which is arrived at this router. Now if I simply match this, so if I say up to here, if I'm matching up to where? 0001. Yeah, this is 8, 16, 20. Up to here, 20-bit. Then it will be forwarded to interface 1. So it will go, so that will be wrong forwarding actually. Here, this organization means these IP addresses are not, cannot be routed via this thing. It cannot reach to the destination. But there is an entry which is this is a more specific entry, you can say. This is a /23. So it will match with this up to 001, right? 20 plus 3 bits more. So 20 plus 3 bits more. That is, so using that, it will forward to interface 2. So then it will reach to the destination. So you can see that how the longest prefix matching is useful, means it is giving me the correct forwarding to the destination. Even in maybe the block of IP address is moved from one ISP to another ISP. Okay, so that is the reason why the longest prefix matching is used. Okay, so I think we'll stop here and we'll continue with this for the next class as well. And we'll do the next set of topics for this. Thank you.